Over 28,000 startups have failed or shut shop in the last couple of years.
The reason for failure varies when you move from one stage to another, but primary is the product market fit at the initial stage and then the team capability.
We have this very ambitious Viksit Bharat goal of over $34.7 trillion economy by 2047. With such lofty goals that we have, how do we realistically navigate the gaps?
You need innovative solution to solve the challenges that we have today.
Only about 12% of the total AI based startups that have raised funding have some kind of social impact.
Our responsibility is to identify these solutions, which is innovation. With our knowledge, can we develop a business model around it so that it can scale up? And if it scales up, it will attract funds.
What are the future trends you think will really emerge out of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India?
But the focus should be climate change, sustainability, circular economy. The second one would be healthcare.
So a lot of patient capital is required.
Money is one aspect of it, right? But then access to market is equally or more important.
Joining me today is Dr. Subhrangshu Sanyal, CEO of IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, who has helped and supported over 1,000 startups in their entrepreneurial journey. Hello and welcome to What India Needs podcast with me, Shutapa Paul. India's vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047 will be propelled by entrepreneurship and innovation. But lying in the wake of innovative MSMEs and startups are market access issues, capital problems, and regulatory hurdles. Joining me today is Dr. Subhrangshu Sanyal, CEO of IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, who has helped and supported over 1,000 startups in their entrepreneurial journey. Dr. Sanyal, thank you so much for coming on What India Needs podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So we are discussing a very interesting and hot topic, startups and innovative MSMEs. However, most startups in India die young, right? Now the recent stats are saying that over 28,000 startups have failed or shut shop in the last couple of years. And even now when we see the new numbers of newer startups, that is also dropping. What would you say are the real challenges which continue to remain for the startups today here in India?
Right. A very interesting question because recently I was also trying to analyze from our portfolio of startups which has not done well. Either they have shut down or they were not able to scale up. Why is it happening? And I also looking at some global statistics. So you know that most of the startups perish in that famous valley of death, right?
Yes.
But then there are multiple stages in the valley of death, right? So it's pre-commercialization, post-commercialization, pre-fundraise, post-fundraise. So there are multiple stages.
Right.
So let me talk about the pre-commercialization stage startups. Statistics say, and also we have seen, that the key reason, the top reason why the startups fail is they are trying to solve a problem which does not exist. Or they are trying to create a solution which nobody wants, right? So they develop something, assuming some facts, some pain points, but when they launch in the market, they don't find people willing to pay for their solution. So there is a major reason what has been identified, pre-commercialization stage. Now let me talk about the post-commercialization stage, that you have piloted and you have now started selling, early customers, early revenue. Now there, and also maybe you have raised some initial fund, seed fund, right? But then you were unable to scale up, right? In spite of the initial success, which probably 70% of the startups will not be able to reach there. But then you have reached there. And all those cases, a strong product market fit is number one, which is lacking, in the sense that the solution that you have developed, maybe that is preferred by a few customers, but not a large number of customers in the segment, number one. And number two, which matters a lot when you scale up further, is the capability of the team. So the team which starts with this idea, right, and takes it forward to the market, either the team couldn't scale up themselves, because to scale up a business, first you need to scale up your team, the capability, right? And also attract good talent so that you can scale it up. You can execute what you want to do. This is where we have seen gap, and we have also seen fight between the partners. So the reason for failure, we have seen that varies when you move from one stage to another, but primary is the product market fit at the initial stage, and then I would say the team capability, the quality of the team.
So fair points, and especially because we have this very ambitious Viksit Bharat goal of over $34.7 trillion economy by 2047. Startups, MSMEs will play a very important role in helping us become a developed nation. But at the same time, even though there is support from the government and there is various kinds of programs, there is support to early stage startups, there are incubators, even such as yourselves who are in the mix, still there is a gap that exists, right? So with such lofty goals that we have, how do we realistically navigate the gaps that exist?
Yeah. See, when you talk about Viksit Bharat, that means we want to be a developed nation, right? So no doubt, entrepreneurship is a very critical lever to achieve that. Now, why is it so? If you look at the transition from a developing to a developed nation, there are two problems you need to solve. The first problem is that you need to create jobs. India has a large population, and you need to give jobs to a large number of people, youth, right? That is the first problem. The second problem is, again, from developing to developed nation, that transition, there are a lot of socioeconomic problems that exist in our country. Big challenges. We need solutions for those challenges. Now, it's not that nothing has been done so far, but then it has not delivered the expected outcome. And here you need innovation.
Right.
So you need innovative solution to solve the challenges that we have today, which will help us to do the transition from developing to developed nation. So these are the two challenges which we feel entrepreneurs can take up and really deliver.
And it's so interesting you mentioned it, because we need to have more support coming in to bridge the urban rural divide, right? This is where innovation and, as you said, entrepreneurial spirit comes in. There are schemes like Digital India Genesis which can help, but technology will also play a huge role, right, to bridge the urban rural divide. How do you see that progressing?
Yeah, that's again very interesting, that currently what is visible in terms of entrepreneurship and startup, mostly what media makes it visible, are those entrepreneurs, either who has raised funding from a VC. Typically funding is considered as a success parameter for startups. Right. But if you look at real entrepreneurship is there everywhere. Okay, if you talk about the tier 2, tier 3, even the grassroots level, okay, there are large number of entrepreneurs. The only thing is the category is different. Okay. Now, every time when I talk about entrepreneurship, people talk about technology. Definitely technology can be maybe a game changer. But even if we look at it, what is technology? Technology is nothing but an enabler. Correct? It enables us to solve a problem. Now, there are a lot of problems which are existing in the local ecosystem, right? So there is one category of problem which are more global, right? National level. But then there are another set of problems which are at local level. For example, if you visit Northeast, right? Northeast, because of the geography, the specific terrain, there are a lot of challenges which exist in Northeast, or even look at the Himalayan states. Now, the problems they face may not be a global problem, but it's very local, right? So we need entrepreneurs who would be able to solve the local problems as well, right? And that may not need very high tech solution. For example, logistics,
Hmm.
right? How do you, deliver produce from northeast to
Yeah.
the mainland, right? Without that, nothing will flourish, right? So then we need somebody to take care of the last mile in
Hmm.
northeast, right?
Hmm.
So there is a need for entrepreneurship, whether it's tech, non-tech. I don't think we should really worry about that,
Right.
as long as the entrepreneur is solving a big problem. It may be local or at a more
Right.
global scale.
Right. So basically, you're saying that, while technology can obviously help bridge the urban and rural divide, there are real challenges which require thinking which is beyond technology also. It requires, firstly, that attention to the fact that certain regions in our country are still underserved. I think that's where your point about logistics is. However, in today's day and age, AI and AI based startups are the ones getting the most funding, right? And then we looked at some stats and we see that only about 12% of the total AI based startups that have raised funding have some kind of social impact. They're creating some kind of social impact. For us to become a developed nation by 2047, the social impact, and as you said, socio-economic challenges will have to be overcome. So how do we make sure that impact investing, social entrepreneurship, that is also encouraged? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, my organization, IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, uh, we promote social entrepreneurship in a big way.
Hmm.
Okay, there's a reason behind it. Now, when I talk about social entrepreneurship, anybody would think that this is more like an NGO, not for profit. Social entrepreneurship is not like that. Social entrepreneurship for us is like any other business,
Right.
but it is impact first. Why I am doing this venture? Because I want to solve a big problem, maybe connected to at least one of the sustainable development goals, right? But then I want to solve it in a scalable and sustainable manner, right? So if you imagine a Venn diagram, right, you have three circles: innovation, business model, and impact. The intersection of these three circles in the Venn diagram is social entrepreneurship.
Right.
Okay. So when you hear about social entrepreneurship, don't think it doesn't have a business model. Don't think it cannot be scalable.
Right.
In fact, our job, our responsibility is to identify these solutions, which is innovation. With our knowledge, can we develop a business model around it so that it can scale up? And if it scales up, it will attract funds.
So this is the very crucial role that, say, incubators and accelerators play, right? Because firstly, you are at the stage where they are coming to you with ideas, right? You're able to guide them towards the right kind of solutions. If it's not working, maybe you're guiding them or mentoring them to pivot. um we have a lot of incubators and accelerators now in India.
Mm.
What is your wish list from, say, the government in terms of support, policy changes? What is your wish list? Because you all are working closely with entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So since the question is related to the government, right? So I'll more focus on that what kind of initiatives I would like to see. Now, previous question, you hinted about the urban-rural divide, right? Or the underserved region. So from a government perspective, if we want to become Viksit Bharat, all this initiative needs to be inclusive, right? And to make it inclusive, there has to be a bigger or a different focus on underserved regions. Now, if we go to the more matured ecosystem, you talk about funding, right? You talk about um, going international, all those things, scaling up beyond the borders. But if you go to an underserved region, the key question is that who wants to be entrepreneur? The question itself changes, right? So you don't expect. So many venture capitalists, I spoke, say that there are a lot of promising entrepreneurs, but then we didn't find many entrepreneurs who are fundable.
Right.
But then it will not happen automatically. Somebody needs to work hard with these promising entrepreneurs and make them fundable. And this is a journey. It will not happen like magic. And this is where who has the interest to do this?
Right.
I think the government should have the biggest interest to do it, right? And then incubators like ours, we are very keen to work with the government to make this change happen.
Right.
And we have done it several times. If you look at Northeast, right? Northeast was not much in the entrepreneurship radar, maybe some 10 years back, right? So we visited various states. We spoke to the political leadership and also the bureaucrats, the executives, and they wanted a solution to the problem. The only thing is that they were not aware how to do it. We said, wow, this is what we can help you out. So a nice partnership developed with various states like Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal, Mizoram, where we helped the government to create the entrepreneurship development program for the state.
Right.
Like Assam Startup, Arunachal APIP, which is investment, Meghalaya Prime, Mizoram. And all became, success stories.
What kind of interests are these programs getting in? Because, we were going to talk about how Northeast, of course, here, y'all are here associated with Calcutta and Bengal, but Northeast is such an interesting development. So what is the feedback or, what is the response that these programs are getting in Assam, Arunachal, Meghalaya, as you said?
Right. And, I tell everybody that a lot of people talk about Northeast, but then to experience Northeast, you need to be there in the Northeast. You need to engage with the youth, and then you see, what exists there. So, very interesting experience. In 2016-17, around that time, we have been discussing with some secretary level people in Mizoram, and they were very keen on developing the entrepreneurship ecosystem there. They said, okay, can you suggest how to do it? So we said, okay, it's simple. Just do a state level business plan hunt,
right,
and see how many people apply, how many business plans you get. And there were some other people, who commented that, we don't think you will get many. If you get 50, that would be a fantastic achievement. We said, okay, let's see. So we did an open application. People could apply over their mobile and all. And we got 250 applications.
Wow.
And then even the government was surprised that, we underestimated the aspiration levels which are there, the youth now,
Absolutely.
right? And then we worked with them, we trained them, and then the experience was transformative, right? So when we talk about Northeast or any underserved region, I think we seriously underestimate the potential which exists among the youth. We need to help them provide a platform so that they can come out, because many of them are very shy, right? And they don't have that confidence, right? Because they feel that we are from this region which is not much visible and all. But if you provide them, then you will see fantastic results. And to work with them for some time, and then you will see success stories coming.
Absolutely. I think, the Bangalores, the Punes, the Gurgaons are all oversaturated. I mean, here we talk about this all the time. To live, to work, to do business, everything is oversaturated. The actual development which will come for us, and again, en route to Viksit Bharat, has to be from Bharat. And that Bharat is tier 2, tier 3 India. And it's very interesting to hear, what you said, because a lot of discussion is moving that way, right? We are trying to draw more attention to tier 2, tier 3 India, ensure that the youth does not have to leave their states and their towns or their cities. They're able to work out of there and create opportunities, both business and job opportunities there. So it's very interesting. When you look at future trends, right? What are the future trends you think will really emerge out of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India? AI obviously is big. We've already discussed that is what is attracting most funding. What are the other future trends that you see?
See, I'll not talk in terms of technology, because I believe technology is always an enabler. Now, what problem this technology can solve, I rather focus on that, right? Now, if you look at the priorities, what are the current priorities we have? Look at the climate change. And that is now clearly visible, hitting us, right? So this is one domain I think we need some serious work. Whether you use AI or any kind of technology, that doesn't matter. But the focus should be climate change, sustainability, circular economy. this domain, I think, is going to be. Anyway, there's a lot of discussion around that. The second one would be, I believe, is healthcare. Because COVID has demonstrated, right, the big gaps in all levels of the healthcare system, ecosystem, right? And the way the cost of healthcare is going up, right? We need serious disruptions in this domain also. And this is also a very basic need. So these two, I feel, would definitely be priority. Doesn't matter whatever technology you are using.
I think it's so interesting that you mentioned this, because obviously this is the need of the hour, right? However, for these kind of businesses, enterprises to thrive, we also need a change in the kind of investments that are happening, right? So a lot of patient capital
Yes.
is required, where the startup or the enterprise is not chasing high scale, but rather looking at creating real solutions. So what are your views on the nature of the investments that is supposed to change as well?
So I think a lot of awareness also needs to be built.
Yeah.
And this is where I believe the government can play a major role, because government has the highest reach, right? And government can influence mindset, correct? Government policies, government incentives, and also the awareness. So this patient capital is very, very, very important, because if you take money and you need to chase a 10x kind of growth, then sometimes you get derailed. And now we some of the failure stories are coming up.
Yeah.
Big giants who have failed, and we know the reasons, right? So we must think about alternative sources of supporting these entrepreneurs. And I believe that money is one aspect of it, right? But then access to market is equally or more important, right? If corporates come up, NGOs come up, and they say, okay, we'll give you opportunity to pilot. Many of these solutions, I'm telling you, the entrepreneurs are having difficulty in piloting it.
Yeah.
So we have one startup called Green participating in one of the climate change accelerators. So he has developed a machine which absorbs carbon and converts that to less harmful, usable substance. Right? Now this person is, and the potential customer of this startup is corporates, large corporates. Now this person is struggling even to do a free pilot with corporates, because nobody is trusting this person to try it out.
Right.
Now, if the risk appetite of corporates or even government to support this innovation is low, then India will not see path-breaking innovation. Maybe there will be fail. So I think everybody should have the appetite to fail. Why we are only telling the entrepreneurs that it's okay to fail, and the corporates don't have that appetite to fail, or the government procurement doesn't have that appetite to fail.
Right.
So these innovations will not come up the way that we want to be.
Very well said. I think everybody, if we want to take the risk, then everyone must take the risk equally. Why should, or to some capacity, everyone takes a risk, because having the entrepreneur only take the risk, that is always, or even the investor who's putting in capital. Let's talk about IIM Calcutta Innovation Park. You obviously mentioned about the work that you all are doing with northeastern state governments, and that's very truly exceptional. You just mentioned one startup. So let me ask you about a few other innovative startups, innovative MSMEs, because you all are doing a lot of work with that. And as you told me offline, that startups are not the only entrepreneurial way, and very important. MSMEs are the backbone of our nation. To tell us a bit about that.
Correct. No, we have very interesting discussion within our board and also with the organization, that what kind of entrepreneurs to support, right? But then, our approach is that we are incubator, right? And nobody has told us that you need to be only a startup incubator. You can incubate any innovative idea, any innovative business. So on one side, you have the startups. Let me talk about another very interesting segment, which is women entrepreneurs at a grassroots level. So you know that under the Ministry of Rural Development, you have these self-help groups which are formed. And a large number of women entrepreneurs are associated with the self-help group, but they are tiny, small. But it's not true that all are tiny and small. There are also a good number of women entrepreneurs who have scalable businesses.
Right. For example, give us what kind of businesses.
I'll give you examples. every region, every state, there are certain unique skill sets, okay, which are the differentiators. Even you have products which are GI products, right? Now, these products are there because it's unique, right? And these products have a market, okay? You need to create a business model around it. Maybe you need to also do some redesigning around that product, and then connect to the right target segment and sell it, okay? And then it can be really high selling products. I'll give you an example. In West Bengal, there is a unique skill called Katha. Katha is an
stitch.
embroidery, Katha stitch, right? So earlier it was like the Rajai, right? But now that has been converted to fashion products like saris and dress materials and all, right?
Right.
And the uniqueness about this is a very special skill set, very unique in this region. The second one is it supports large number of livelihoods, specifically women. Right. Because women will take this, whenever they have time, they will work on that and they will deliver. And then there is a master entrepreneur who will design, give the work, collect that, finish it and sell it. Right. Now, we did an incubation program for them, supported by the National Rural Livelihood Mission. In the same model as startups, but then obviously they have the needs are different. So I'll give you one example of Katha Stitch fashion product company, not company, an enterprise, women-led. So she was doing the traditional saris and all, and the cost of this sari is like 10,000 plus. And she was trying to sell it online. But then the willingness of people to purchase a very high value product online is not so much, right? But then we worked with them. We said, okay, what else can you make? Which is, let's say, maximum 2,000 or 3,000. Right. And it can sell. So she started converting or designing stoles and kurtis, right? Very fashionable, very unique. And then we have connected them to the online platforms. And then she started selling it. Right. So that way, she has opened up another channel for sales, and that has helped her increase her revenue significantly. In fact, I'll tell you, we worked with 450 such women in West Bengal, Bihar and Assam, working with some unique kind of products like this. Okay. Out of these 450 women, 60 women are crorepati didis. Amazing. Means their revenue is more than 1 crore. And the minimum revenue that these didis will have would be 1 lakh per month. Amazing. Many startups will not be able to achieve this. So this is all under IIM Calcutta Innovation Park? This is the program that you are running? Correct. We successfully completed it. Now the next phases will commence. But then this was an eye-opener for us. That look at the potential. Wow. And I believe you have set a target of 1 lakh plus grassroots level women entrepreneurs that you'll want to support in this way. See, like startups, we also want to scale up. Yeah. Right? If you have supported, let's say, approximately 500 women now, how can we impact 1 lakh livelihood? Because another interesting fact, that this category of entrepreneurs, let's say somebody is working with this kind of hand embroidery or art and craft or something like that, or pickles, if they are making 1 crore revenue, the minimum employment they will generate would be at least 200. 200 people. 200 people. Amazing. From the locality. Correct? So if I support one women entrepreneur to scale up, I am creating or enabling 200 livelihood. Amazing. Yeah. Correct? So 1 lakh is not a big number that way. And it's hyper-local. It is happening in that area. Absolutely. So the youth are getting jobs. They're not having to move out and get it. So that's a brilliant thing. So why not try and do this in other states as well? I mean, why not get other states to follow what you are doing? Yes, that is the idea, because we want to scale up. And so I'm happy to share with you this incubation model which we collaborated with the Ministry of Rural Development, National Rural Livelihood Mission. The model that we have developed that has been recognized as a standard operating procedure for other states to follow now. Right. So the pilot was successful. Now the outcome of the pilot is that now we have a model which everybody can follow. So now from the government side, there is a advice to the states that why don't you replicate this? Right. And we are definitely now going to work with many more states and help them learn and implement this model. Right. Very interesting. When you, whenever people think of Eastern India,
And I hail from Eastern India, from Bengal, but I know that there is a bit of a realistic bias, but a bias that nothing happens out of here. And in the East, they mean all of the East, Northeast, Bengal, Bihar, everything. So how do you, in your role as the CEO, how do you fight this bias that comes in?
Yeah, definitely it's a perception. Okay. One reason might be that, as I told you earlier also, that people measure success. The parameter is how much VC fund you have raised. So if you're a startup, you are bootstrapped, your customer is your funder, right?
Yeah.
Then you are not so valuable compared to somebody who is burning money but raising rounds after round. So this is a perception, and people rather, those entrepreneurs are heroes and these entrepreneurs are not worth much.
Right.
This is the perception, right? If this is the perception, then yes, I agree. But then I can share with you many examples where entrepreneurs are doing great work. Only thing is that they have not raised fund. Even some of them don't want to raise a VC fund. They don't need to, right? Maybe they will not be as fast, but then they're slowly but surely getting there. Right. So this category of entrepreneurs, we have large number in East. Right. Okay. Maybe my request to you is that why don't you try to bring them out in the public, give them that public visibility they deserve, and then let the youth also learn another model of entrepreneurship rather than only the VC model. Absolutely. I 100% believe in that. I'm a small business entrepreneur myself and a woman entrepreneur. I'm completely unfunded, bootstrapped, but traditional business where your business funds you, and absolutely. I think that's a very strong model for a lot of MSMEs. And as we said, MSMEs are the backbone of a nation. I mean, that's how Japan is where it is, because their MSMEs supported it, not just startups. IIM Calcutta Innovation Park. Now, I know that you'll have some brilliant startups coming out of that. I was looking at some of the startups. Tell us a bit about your most innovative startups which are coming out. I know the list is long, but your top three. Yes. If I talk about the success, considering the funding parameter, we have seen successes as well from that angle. So far our biggest success is Dehat, which is one of the top agri-tech company in the country. Right. And when we worked with them, they were working with their very initial business model. At that stage, we supported them, funded them a bit. And now everybody knows about Dehat. We exited because since they have scaled up, grown up, there's no need of an incubator being there. Right. So we exited. But then we are proud of Dehat. Right. There is another company which is growing and very fast is 5C Network. 5C Network is in the healthcare space, teleradiology. So they have innovated. They are continuously innovating, right? They try to solve the problem that if you do a scan here now, right, you don't get the report till a radiologist looks at it. Right. And sometimes it takes a day, right, or at least several hours. So he's solving the problem by taking that image, compressing it, putting on cloud, and radiology from anywhere, radiologist can look at it and interpret. So he can almost guarantee a report in 45 minutes time. Wow. Solving a problem which also exists, I mean, specifically for tier 2, tier 3 cities where you don't have radiologists, right? Yeah. And on the top of it now, he's using AI and machine learning so that the machine can also contribute to a great extent in the interpretation. Right. But then the radiologist needs to confirm that. But then it saves a lot of time, right? And there is a serious demand-supply gap in this space. So this is one amazing startup. I'll talk about another amazing startup, which you will sometimes think that this kind of startups exist. So one big problem in our country is death due to snake bite. Yes. Right? Absolutely. One of the highest reasons, actually. Correct. So India is like a capital for this kind of death capital, I would say, due to snake bites, and for obvious reasons. And we know the solution also exists, anti-venom, but there's a serious shortage of venom. Yeah. Also, regulation prevents you from stocking venom. So that's also an issue. Yeah. just because there are various challenges, and it's a very precious item, just
Mm.
because you can save life. But then who will extract venom? There are very few places in the country this is done, and this acute shortage. So is one brave individual who loves snakes from Kolkata. He has created a WHO certified serpentarium right here, maybe around 30 kilometers from Kolkata, 20 kilometers from Kolkata, where he has various species of snakes, and he extracts venoms and supplies to various customers who are like either labs or antivenom manufacturers. And he has the dream to convert it to a full-fledged, venom plus antivenom facility.
Right.
Now, see, the challenge is that why it is important, because what I learned from him, that snakes have this regional variation.
Right.
So if a cobra bites here, the antivenom which is created out of a cobra venom which is from other part of India may not work.
Right.
So it has this regional variation.
Wow.
So somebody needs to understand and work on this. And I remember his dialogue. So when we fund, we say that, okay, we are taking a risk, right? Do you understand that? What are the risks you see? He says that you are taking a financial risk. I have risked my entire life to do my startup.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
Every day I'm going
This
through
is
that.
the startup called Monosha Biotech.
Correct?
Right.
So we love this kind of startups. And these are fundable, right? The product is very much marketable and fundable. How can we support them? And they have not taken any serious funding now. We have supported with some seed fund, but they have not taken any VC funding now.
Wow.
Because they feel they can grow.
Are they the only ones in the country doing something like this?
Regarding startups, I have not heard about any other startup doing this, because it's extremely difficult, and regulations. Look at the perseverance of the entrepreneur. 4 to 5 years he had to fight to get the right approvals to create the serpentarium.
Wow.
And many times people are not sure which regulations will apply and which will not apply.
So this is where we need to move faster.
Absolutely.
I mean, policymakers need to cut the red tapeism and look at the real solutions that an entrepreneur is providing.
Correct.
And move quickly on it. What is your long-term aspiration for IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, both from what your programs and missions, and also what you hope to achieve in your dialogue with policymakers, because that is an important one.
Yeah, true. So see, we also have a dream, a big dream. Every startup wants to become an unicorn, but we are not for profit. We cannot be a $1 billion company. But we also want to be unicorn. We want to be a social unicorn. What it means, we want to impact billion lives. And this impact will happen through entrepreneurs. So this is our goal. So on one side, we have startups. We want scalable startups who can scale up and impact large number of lives. On the other hand, we have these grassroots level entrepreneurs who are anyway embedded very much into the society and have the ability to create large number of livelihoods. So this multi-pronged approach, on one hand, I told you the startup, so funding, mentoring, whatever is required to scale them up, and incubating the grassroots level entrepreneurs, or creating scalable models for incubation for them, so that it can be spread. And so this is the multi-pronged approach that I'm thinking about. And when my wish list, if I from my expectations from the government, that I think we need more visibility for entrepreneurs. Okay. Definitely Shark Tank and programs like that has created a lot of visibility for the entrepreneurs. But again, that is again centered around funding. I think we should recognize problem solvers. Okay.
Absolutely.
Which will encourage the youngsters to think about solving problems for the country.
Innovations
which helps our society. So if you want to make money, you can create a game app. And you can make money, right? But then what big problem of a country is getting solved by that? Right? So my appeal to the government is that please have some policy, have some programs which will support these problem solvers.
Absolutely. I think visibility, I mean, there is so much saturation in visibility also. It's the funded startups. I mean,
Yes.
since we also work very closely with the funded startups, always get the attention, and the
Yeah.
ones who are, say, not as heavily funded or VC
Yeah.
funded, they often fall by the wayside, not because they don't have a good business happening, it's
Yeah.
just because they're not getting the
Mm.
visibility. I think that's a great point.
And don't get me wrong, and I have nothing against in
Yeah.
fact, we love funded startups because if the startup gets funded, we get exits.
Yes.
So that helps an incubator to get exit
Absolutely.
and sustain. But I'm saying that if you look at the Viksit Bharat mission, the Atmanirbhar Bharat vision, the other side is also very important.
I mean, somewhere we have to think beyond ourselves, right? All of us are in the business of making some kind of profits, but we also need to think of the impact that we're creating. And that kind of impact can't come, as you said, with only money as a dictator, as a driver. It has to be greater social and economic change. Brings us to the last segment, very quick Q&A for you. You work very closely with early stage founders, both from the innovative MSME sides and startups as well. What's the one thing you believe we consistently get wrong in the entrepreneurial and startup ecosystem?
Yeah. Are you solving a real problem and a big problem?
Hmm.
That's the question which needs to be answered first before you do anything. So that's what I find
Number one question.
number one
that
question you
should be
should
there.
ask.
All right. As the CEO of IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, what has been your biggest learning?
Biggest learning is that I know nothing. Seriously, I'm telling you, I worked with, so I've spent around 10 plus years now with this incubator since its inception. The first 6-7 years, it was only with startups. Exciting, innovation, fine. But then when I saw the other facets, like other kind of entrepreneurs, right, as I told you the story, that was completely different learning for me. That, okay, this is what is real Bharat.
Is there a real challenge that you face as the CEO to get investors to come to this part of the world, to the eastern part of India, VCs and PEs and others to come here and look at the startups, interact with startups?
See, I don't think there's any barrier now because of the online accessibility and all, and we have a good number of partners. But then having some investors in your local ecosystem always helps.
Of course.
Because they are accessible, you can go get feedback. I think if you pitch to the investor and you don't get funding, that is not bad. But it's important to know why you are not fundable.
Right.
And it happens mostly when you can interact and spend time with the investors, right? And then you understand investors' mindset. So unfortunately, this part of the country, you don't have many such investors. So from accessibility angle, now I think accessibility is not an issue. Online, anywhere you can do it. But then this interaction adds also a lot of value to the startup. This is what I miss.
And that is where I think successful entrepreneurs should turn investors very quickly.
Absolutely.
They can support others
Yes.
like them, right?
Yeah. No, they are doing that actually. I know the Warm founder Sagar.
Recently, he's made an investment.
Yes, he's supporting many youngsters and there are a few others. So it is happening, but then it needs to grow.
It needs to grow.
Yeah.
Last question. What is the one mistake you think that incubators make and should stop immediately?
Okay. Feel happy with grants. The biggest challenge for incubators is to remain sustainable. And initially, when we get grants, we are happy and we continuously look for grants. But this is not going to be sustainable.
So IIMCIP is sustainable.
We are sustainable. We are sustainable. We have developed a model. Grant always welcome. We love grants, but then we should not depend on grants to scale up and do the other work. So this is something which most of the incubators will face sooner or later. And I think the mistake is that you think these grants will exist forever, which will not.
That's so well put. I think because a lot of lessons that you want to teach the startups and the entrepreneurs should come from your own
Yeah.
own offices and boardrooms, and so good that IIM Calcutta Innovation Park is sustainable. It's wonderful to have you on What India Needs podcast, Subhrangshu. Thank you so much, and I wish you and your team all the best in this wonderful mission that you have embarked on.
And we need you to support this mission.
Always.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely there. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you with us.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining me on What India Needs podcast. If you liked the conversation, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Leave your comments below. Thank you. See you next time.